Oh, hi, I'm April. So this is my first video. So I was thinking out for my first video, I would do a list of facts about me. So that way you guys can get to know me better and decide if, if I'm somebody that you want to continue watching. So some of these facts are, like more deep, like, oh, this is something that genuinely makes me happy. And some of them are just stupid little things that, like, don't really matter. So the first one is one of those stupid things that don't really matter. I'm a blonde. I don't know with this lighting if you can tell that my roots are out. The reason the lighting is so shitty is because I was gonna do this video a lot earlier in the day, but I wound up going out shopping today, so I didn't realize I was gonna be out for 4 hours. And so by the time I got home, because of daylight savings, it's getting dark around like 5 o'clock, so it's 6:30 right now. There's no sun outside, so I have no natural lighting, and I apologize. I am aware that it does not look the best, but I'm doing the best I can. Usually I will be filming videos during the day when it's light outside, but today I just didn't have time because I wasn't home. Fact number 2, this is actually not my first YouTube channel. I had a YouTube channel multiple times. I've made it multiple times, but something always happens. The first time I was just like, it was a secret, and I was honestly scared that somebody I know would find it. And then after that, I got tired of, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like, I just wasn't feeling it anymore, even though this is something that I wanted to do since I was a kid. It was just that I was very overwhelmed, and honestly, it was me putting all the stress on myself. Like, it was nobody else's fault, so, like, I didn't need to be taking it as seriously as I was, so I deleted it because it was just getting too much for me. And then the last time I was actually going steady, I was actually gaining subscribers, I was actually, doing pretty well. But then I had to delete my email that was connected to it because of, like, hacking issues. So, with the email comes the YouTube channel. So, yeah, here we are. I didn't start another one because at the time I had a broken computer anyway, so I wouldn't have even been able to upload videos. But, it's months later now. I have the will, I have the desire, I have a working computer, so now I can post again. Fact number 3, this goes along with fact number 2. Not only did I have my own YouTube channel, but I had, like, my whole brand. Ever since I was 13, I am 19 now. So from age, like, 13 to 18, I actually went by a fake name online. I was named Lucifira. It was my Instagram name, it was my Twitter name, it was not my Snapchat because I made my Snapchat forever, came up with that, but it was my Tumblr name, it was my name on literally everything. In fact, like, even for my email, I went by Lucifira. I thought, once I get published, which is something I'll talk about later, I was gonna go under the pen name of Lucifira because I just don't like my name. April's a very basic name. It's just a month. It's not creative at all, and I don't like being basic, obviously. Look at me. So yeah, so it just, but I actually rebranded a couple months ago. I deleted all of my old social medias. I started completely new. I've had all the social media since I was like 13. I've been on the internet for a long time, and I completely started over new, and I decided that I want to go by my actual name. So I came up with a new username. It was a big change for me. It was a big deal, and I thought, instead of being this alter ego, I'm just going to be myself, and hope for the best. Fact number 4, this is actually something that I just kind of touched on. Sorry about the lighting change there. I want to be an author. So YouTuber is like my second dream job because I can be a YouTuber and an author. And when I say YouTuber and an author, I don't mean a YouTuber who decided that they just want to publish a book. I mean, I am an author and then I am a YouTuber. Author is my number one. It's always been my passion since I was 6 years old. I've been writing stories. I write fiction stories. I post my stories currently on Wattpad, but now that I'm 19 and I have a story that's finished, I'm going to edit it and then send it off to try to get published for the first time. And I'm gonna keep trying until it gets published, even if I have to self-publish. But Harry Potter got rejected, I think it was like 13 times before it was accepted, and Harry Potter's one of the biggest franchises out there next to like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and shit. So I will be published someday. And for now, even though I'm not making money off of it, I still love writing, and I will always be a writer. I always have been. Fact number 5. I actually just put in my 2 weeks notice at my actual everyday job. I work in retail. I'm not going to say which store, but I put in my 2 weeks notice because they treat their employees like shit, and that was actually the catalyst of this. I was like, maybe I should come back to YouTube. Like, it's going to be a while before I start making money off of this. It's going to be a while before I build up an audience, but I was like, why not give it a shot again? So, that's not why I quit. Again, I quit because they treat their employees like shit at the place that I work at, and I am going to apply for another actual steady job, so I will be doing YouTube. I will also have another job, so if uploads are a little all over the place, it's because this is not my only job. In fact, I'm not getting paid for this right now because this is my first video, but hopefully, eventually, I can do this as a more solid, source of income. Number 6, as you could probably tell by looking at me, I love makeup. When I was a kid, I was very tomboy, which now I think is, like, stupid because, like, just because you like stereotypically masculine things makes you a tomboy. Like, you're just a girl who likes things. Like, nothing is gender specific in my head. I don't think that only girls should be wearing dresses, only girls should be painting their nails. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. It's your body, you know? As long as you're not hurting anyone. So I grew up like a tomboy, like never wearing makeup, never wanting to wear makeup, didn't want to get married, didn't want to have kids, I didn't want to do anything feminine, I didn't wear dresses, I didn't wear skirts, I didn't own any dresses or skirts. But then once I turned 12, I had an emo phase, and that emo phase lasted a couple of years before I realized I identify more with goth than emo, although I did have this weird transition period in between where I just didn't have a fucking identity. I didn't know what was going on. Freshman year was a rough year for me, but eventually I figured it out, and I have been this way ever since, and I couldn't be happier with the way I look. But, I mean, aesthetically, my body's kind of an issue for me, but that's another topic. What was I talking about? I don't even remember. Oh, makeup. But it started off with a little eyeliner, you know, my little emo phase, and now we're here. So, I'm not going to be wearing makeup in every video because sometimes I just don't have the energy, and if you don't like my natural face, it's not my issue. But I wanted to, wear makeup for my first ever video, and this is just how I decided to look today. Some days I look normal, some days I look like this. Sorry. Number 7, my favorite genre of movies is horror. I wasn't able to watch a lot of horror movies as a kid. I just accidentally stepped on a water bottle, sorry. My room's kind of a mess because my job is, I work a lot, so I don't really have time when I get home because I get off at like 6, and then I have to go to bed at like 10:30, and I gotta eat dinner, and I have other shit I have to get done. I have to like edit my story, I have to post more chapters on Wattpad and on Tumblr. So by the time I get home, my feet are hurting, I'm tired, and I have so much to do that I haven't been able to keep my room as clean as I usually do, but I have 3 days off this coming up week, so I am going to clean my room. Thank God, because I hate being cluttered, I can't stand it. But anyway, my favorite genre of movies is horror. I wasn't able to watch a lot as a kid because I have a very active imagination. Thank God, it helps with my writing, but it also helps me have nightmares. So, I would see a movie, and even though I knew it wasn't real, I would think like, oh, what if it was? And then I have like all these scary thoughts, and I was having like horrible nightmares. So I wasn't able to watch scary movies until like a certain age, and ever since then I fell in love with them. Number 8, my favorite movie in general, like overall, is Labyrinth. It's from, I think, 1989, 1979, 1989. I'm pretty sure it's from the 80s. With David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. That I watched it for the first time when I was like 5, and I've loved it ever since. I love the music. I love the actors in it. It's my comfort movie. I could watch it multiple times in a day and I would not get tired of it. In fact, I did as a child. I did watch it multiple times a day. I don't know if that's normal, but whenever I found a movie that I liked, I got really attached to it, and I would watch it multiple times a day. And I would enjoy it thoroughly every time. It would never get tiring. And so I loved it so much I wound up buying it on DVD, and I still have it to this day. And it will always be my favorite movie. Fact number 9, I'm also very into gaming. I have a lot of interests. Not a lot of them are like relevant to each other either. But I am very into gaming. I've been playing games since I was a kid. I am hesitant to call myself a gamer because then, like, I feel like I'm lying. Like, I'm just someone who happens to play video games. I don't play every single day, but I do love video games. I do have a lot of games. I used to play on my computer and on Xbox. I have an Xbox One. But now I have a Mac computer, and I haven't bought any games for my Mac. Also, it seems to me, as somebody who's only had a Mac for a couple of months, it seems to me like there's not a lot of games that are formatted for Mac. Most of them are formatted for Windows. But I still had my Xbox, and I would actually play, once I got my Xbox, which I haven't had an Xbox very long. I got my Xbox like 2 years ago, I think. Well, almost 2 years ago. This December it'll be 2 years ago. Throughout most of my life, I played on my computer because it was all I had. When I was a kid, I used to play on my grandpa's PS2. And then his PS2 went out, so later when I got older, I got a computer, and I played on my computer, and I had, like, handheld consoles, for a while. I had a Game Boy for a bit, I had a PSP, I had a DS, and then I lost it for, like, 8 years, and then I finally found it, and I didn't have any games for it, and I didn't feel like buying a bunch of games when they don't make games for it anymore anyway. If I'm gonna have a handheld gaming device, it might as well be like a Switch, you know? So I wound up getting rid of it, but I still have my Xbox. But now my Xbox is getting a bit outdated, and because it's not the new one, it's the Xbox One, and it doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it doesn't want to work properly, sometimes it doesn't want to turn on. I'm having issues, so it's a miracle when my Xbox actually works. So I haven't been playing games here recently a lot because I need to save up to get a new Xbox. But I do love video games. I've been playing games since I was a kid. I grew up with them. But that doesn't mean that I'm somebody who can have like a whole like hour-long conversation, because like it's not like my life. Like, I'm not somebody who every second that I'm not working, I'm like playing video games. I have a lot going on. I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of things I'm into. So yeah, but I do love video games, and I'm dating a gamer boy too. It's very stereotypical because I'm like the goth girlfriend and he's the like golden retriever gamer boy. Like, it's very funny. Anyways, number 10. I feel like these two go hand in hand most of the time, but I'm also really into anime, and so is my boyfriend. I have been watching anime since I was like maybe 11 or 12. Again, it's not something that I'm like actively like every day I'm watching anime. But I do have a lot of love for it. I have a lot of love for Japanese culture in general. And by Japanese culture, I don't mean, you know, the way that weebs think Japanese culture is. I mean genuinely learning about the culture. And it's not just Japan. I love learning about other countries in general, and I am actually teaching myself a couple of languages. You know, I'm using free resources. I took Spanish a couple of years in high school. I took Spanish 1 and 2, and I'm still continuing to teach myself Spanish now that I'm out of high school. But afterwards, I'm going to learn Japanese, which I already know a couple of words because I was learning Japanese before I started learning Spanish. But then when I got into high school and I found out we had to take either Spanish or art, I was like, oh, well, might as well put a pause on the Japanese and start learning Spanish in the meantime, because I don't want to learn 2 languages at once. That wouldn't be like efficient, you know. So I was like, okay, I'll put a pause on the Japanese until I'm fluent in Spanish, and then I'll go back to Japanese. And then after that, I have a bunch of other languages planned too. But when I learn new languages, I don't just learn a language. I learn about their culture and their traditions, and, you know, I actually do appreciate learning about other cultures because I'm from America. I'm American. We don't really have that. Our culture is pretty much based on like racism, and I'm not about that shit. So it's not for me, sorry, and I hope it's not for you either. My first anime that I ever got into, other than Pokemon, because some people do not consider Pokemon anime for some reason, it's Japanese animation, so I'm not sure why, although I do know that it's like a global phenomenon, so like everybody knows what Pokemon is, even like grown-ass adults who have never seen anime in their lives, and they think that anime is for kids, which that's a whole other conversation. Even they know about Pokemon because it's such a widely beloved anime. And so, other than Pokemon, the first anime I ever watched was Black Butler, and from there I was hooked. Now, going back and watching Black Butler, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that was like like thousands and thousands year old demon, who had like sexual attention with a 13-year-old boy. That was very strange to me. People shipped them. There was a whole, is it called Sebastiel? No. I feel like it is Sebastiel. CL and Sebastian. Like, there's people who've straight up ship them, and then people who, like, whenever you call it out and you're like, hey, that's fucking weird, that's a child and a grown demon man, they're like, well, he's thousands and thousands of years old, like, he's not gonna ever be the same age. Like, that's still an adult and a child, whether he's human or not. That's fucking that's a 13-year-old boy. Anyway, it's very strange to me. It's very gross. I don't like the way that they sexualize the children. But it does hold sentimental value to me. But my favorite anime so far is, I recently got into Bleach, which I know it's an old-ass anime. That's something about me is, like, I have a short attention span. Sometimes I'm really into things, and then other times, like, I'll procrastinate and I just won't do it, even though I love it. Like, for example, anime, for a while, I took a break from, like, it wasn't that I didn't want to watch it, it was just, like, I had so much on my list, I had so many series going that I'm currently watching, but I was like, oh, I'm not in the mood for it right now, I'll watch some tomorrow, and I would keep putting it off, and the next thing I know, I haven't watched anime in, like, over a year, and that's why it takes me so long to finish series, because I'll, like, binge watch them sometimes, and I'll get through, like, maybe a season or two, and then I'll come back, like, months later, because during those months I was like, oh, I'm just not in the mood right now, I don't have the attention span to pay attention, I don't want to miss anything, so it takes me a long time to finish series most of the time, so that's why I haven't seen a lot of anime. But anyway, Bleach is becoming my favorite. I love Bleach. In fact, today when I went shopping, I wound up buying, it was the first shirt I grabbed was a Bleach shirt. I also really like Tokyo Ghoul. I haven't been able to finish it because I was watching it on a website that was taken down because it was illegal, but so I never got to finish it, but I think they have it on Hulu, and I recently got Hulu, so we'll see. But it was really good from what I saw. I know how it ends, unfortunately, I had it spoiled for me. But anyway, and I'm also getting into Sailor Moon, which, again, I know, it's a very old anime, let's move on. But yeah, I love anime, even though I'm not as well-versed as some other people. Number 11, my favorite genre of music is rock and indie. Occasionally, I'll listen to some, like, rap, like mainstream rap, but, like, I'm not really into rap. Most rap I don't like. The rap that I do like, I don't even know if it's considered rap. Like, Doja Cat, she's good. Meg the Stallion, I know she's considered a rapper. She's a female rapper. I like Meg the Stallion. And then, other than that, like, it's all rock, metal, stuff like that. Number 12, my favorite musicians are David Bowie, which, you know, I still love him because I grew up listening to his music. I love his voice, and, you know, again, my favorite movie is Labyrinth, and he is the main character in Labyrinth. He is the Goblin King. But he's not going to put anything new out because he's been dead for a while. So, but he'll still always be in my heart. And then out of people who are still alive and capable of making new music, my favorite is Youngblood. My favorite song is As the World Falls Down, sorry, which is from Labyrinth. It's a song by Bowie, naturally. My favorite comedians are Bo Burnham and Donald Glover. I don't know if he goes by Donald Glover for his comedy, right? It's his music that he's Childish Gambino. Either way, I like his music and I like his comedy. So, here's another random one. Fact number 15. I'm only 5'4". I'm average height. And that's it. 16. I have 3 celebrity crushes. And before anybody gets angry and is like, but you have a boyfriend, like, I'm fine with my boyfriend having celebrity crushes. He doesn't have any, supposedly, but I've talked to him about it, we've communicated it, because, you know, with celebrity crushes, it's not the same as, like, you know, having feelings for another person, because they're just celebrities, we don't know anything about them. It's, you know, like, if my celebrity crushes were standing in the room fighting for me and my boyfriend was there, I would still choose my boyfriend, because I'm actually in love with my boyfriend. I actually care about my boyfriend and everything. I care about the well-being of... we'll get there. I care about the well-being of, like, 2 of my celebrity crushes. The other one kind of deserves some bad karma, but nothing too bad, you know? But we'll get there. I'll explain it in a second. But it's not, like, the same way I feel about my boyfriend, obviously, because I am in a relationship with him, and at the end of the day, those are just celebrities that, like, yeah, they're, like, I find them attractive, but, like, it's not the same feelings. So, yeah. Anyway, my celebrity crushes are Tom Hiddleston, Ewan McGregor, which is the one that I said, kind of deserves some bad karma. He cheated on his ex-wife. And his family found out on one of his daughter's birthdays, so that's not great. And then number 3 is the number 1, the main one, Adam Driver. That man. Anyway. So he's number 1, but those are my 3 celebrity crushes. Number 17, my boyfriend's very into Star Wars and Marvel. He grew up on it. His whole family is very into Star Wars and Marvel movies, so I got into Star Wars and Marvel too. I started watching Star Wars first because actually I started watching it from my ex-boyfriend because he was also into Star Wars, and I spent the first 16 years of my life avoiding Star Wars because I didn't think I would get into it. My grandpa was a big fan, my dad's a big fan. You know, it is a world-renowned movie franchise. Everybody has seen Star Wars. But I always just avoided it because I didn't think it was my thing. I've never been into, like, science fiction or space movies or anything like that. So I avoided it, and I started watching it when I started dating my ex-boyfriend, which only lasted a month. And the only good thing that came out of that relationship was I actually wound up falling in love with Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I think the movies are really good. My favorite movie out of all of them is Revenge of the Sith. My favorite character is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not because Ewan McGregor played him when he was younger, but I love old Kenobi and young Kenobi. Kenobi's just my favorite character. And also, it's how I found out about Adam Driver, so that's not the main reason. It is genuinely the movies. Even if Ewan McGregor and Adam Driver weren't in any of those movies, I would still love Star Wars. But then I tried to get into Marvel for my current boyfriend, because I just wanted to see, like, you know, what all the hype is about. And everybody around me, it's another big franchise. Everybody loves Marvel, and the Avengers and everything. So I was like, let me check this out. And I didn't really get into Marvel, unfortunately. I'm sorry. That is fact number 17. It is 17, right? Yeah, it's fact number 17. I'm not really into Marvel. However, they're, like, I don't dislike the movies, it's just I'm not, like, a huge fan. Like, they're okay, I'll watch them with him if he wants me to watch them. But, like, it's just not really my thing. However, this is fact number 18. Even though I didn't really get into it as a franchise, there was, like, one movie that I did really like. It was Thor: The Dark World. And I still have more to go. I haven't finished all of them. I am procrastinating. But out of what I did see, I do have 2 favorite characters, and that's fact number 18. My favorite Marvel characters are Black Widow and Loki. Fact number 19, I kind of already said this earlier because I forgot I have a whole separate fact for it, but I love Star Wars. Number 20. My favorite franchise is actually Harry Potter. Harry Potter is what I was raised with instead of Star Wars. I wound up, you know, getting into that when I was older, like I said earlier. But I grew up on Harry Potter. Number 22, I took what was called the Pottermore quiz at the time. I took that, and I am actually a Hufflepuff. Number 23. My favorite Harry Potter characters are Neville and Sirius Black. Number 24, I am into astrology and spirituality and stuff like that. Number 25, this one's very random, but I love Winnie the Pooh. It's what I grew up on. When I was a kid, like, my room was Winnie the Pooh themed. I have a Winnie the Pooh, jewelry box over there. I have a Winnie the Pooh figurine in my window. I have this Winnie the Pooh necklace I just got for my anniversary from my boyfriend, and I have the other Winnie the Pooh necklace he got me for Christmas last year, and I have a couple stuffed Winnie the Poohs. This is one of my older ones. He's kind of deformed because he's old. Me too. But I have like a newer one that I got for, I think it was Valentine's Day this year. He's on my bed. And then I have the Winnie the Pooh purse that I got for my birthday this year from my boyfriend. There's a lot of Winnie the Pooh in here. I love Winnie the Pooh. And I'm thinking about eventually getting a tattoo of him on my body too. So. And number 25, last but definitely not least, I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. It has always been my favorite holiday because I used to be like, oh, it's the one day of the year I could dress up, but now this is like how I look all year round, so I'm always kind of scary. But I was a pirate this year. Next year I'm thinking of like dressing up like a hippie. But you know, it really goes in with my aesthetic and my love for horror movies and stuff like that. I also love pumpkins. I love the seasonal stuff. The whole season of fall and Halloween is very homey to me. So yeah, that's the last fact. So thank you for watching. I hope I didn't annoy you or scare you too much with my face. I don't have a specific schedule I'm going to be posting on. I'm just going to make as much as I can and post as frequently as possible, but do keep in mind that I will eventually have another job because I'm about to quit the one that I'm working at right now. I only have 6 days left at most, maybe less than that. And I'm going to take like a month off where I'm just working on my creative outlets, and then I'm going to get another job. And so I will be working another job as well as doing this, and I'm also focusing on my writing too. So, you know, I'm going to be putting out other types of content too. So if you would like to read my writing, I will put a link in the description to Wattpad. I also have a writing Tumblr. I'll put a link to that too if you're interested in maybe reading that. I just finished a fantasy adventure book. I'm about to post the last chapter on Wattpad soon, and then on Tumblr I've only posted the first like 20 chapters, I think. So I have like quite a few more coming, but Wattpad is almost caught up. They're all written, I just haven't posted them publicly and typed them up. So Wattpad, I only have one more chapter to post. It's the epilogue. And then on Tumblr, it's a little behind. So if you want the most frequent and the most up-to-date updates, it's on Wattpad. I also currently writing a new story, but this one I'm not going to try to get published, because that's what I'm going to do is some of them I'm going to try to publish, and some of them are just strictly going to be for a free online audience. So for the free online audience that I'm trying to build, because nobody really reads them right now, but it's actually an Adam Driver fanfiction. I don't really write fanfiction. I haven't written fanfiction since I was like 12, so this is like kind of new to me because I haven't done it in years. I'm very rusty, and when I wrote it when I was 12, it was not good at all. So I'm giving it another go. Not every free story that's only going to be online is going to be a fanfiction. I will have regular stories too. It's just right now I'm working on an Adam Driver fanfiction. So that is on both Tumblr and Wattpad. The same amount of chapters are out on both. And then my other story, which is completely original, not a fanfiction. Well, the other one's original too. It all came from my head, but like, obviously not all the characters are mine, because Adam Driver is a real person. So, but the other one is just a fictional story. So anyways, this is not the only thing that I have going on in my life. I do have other things that I'm doing, so please be patient if you do plan on watching more. Thank you for watching. Please thrust into the like button, boop, subscribe button, and I'll see you next video. Sayonara!